The Steam Summer Sale is here, and I have spent some time going through all the different deals, and I've picked out 10 different games that I think will be really good pickups on the Steam Deck. I'm going to keep this video fairly short, so I won't spend too long on each game, but just to quickly note, I haven't played all of these myself. Some of them are ones I have played, some of them I'm going to pick up in this sale, but all of them are from the Great on Steam Deck section of the Steam store. The sale runs until July 13th, so by the time this video comes out, you still should have just under a week to pick up some great additions for your collection. So we're going to jump right in. The first one on my list is Marvel's Midnight Suns. Now this one is on my list to pick up, and I think I'm going to pick it up in this sale. I've been thinking about it for a while, never really pulled the trigger, but it's 60% off, and that's all the additions, so you can even get the one with the DLC for 60% off, which makes it pretty cheap in my eyes. It's got a mix of that deck building card game and strategical gameplay, and it's full of Marvel characters, so it sounds right up my street. And it also looks like you can switch up the settings to achieve 30, 40 or 60 FPS, depending on what kind of graphical fidelity you like and what frame rate you want to go for. The next one is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and you should pick up this game if you're after something a bit more combat and action focused, and of course if you're really into those Souls-like games and maybe you haven't picked this one up yet or you want to be able to play it on the go. You might have to lock this one at 40 FPS, but it still looks really good on this Steam Deck, and it's 50% off, so it's a pretty good deal right now, I think. You'll just have to be careful that instead of rage throwing your controller, you don't accidentally rage throw your Steam Deck, because that might be a little bit harder to replace. Moving on then to the LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga, and I think the LEGO games work really well on this Steam Deck. You know, the suspend resume feature allows you to play in really small chunks if you want to, and small chunks work really well for LEGO games in general, I think. And this latest one in the franchise is no different. This one is 67% off at the moment, so again a really good deal, and that includes all the versions with the DLC too, so you get a lot of content here. People spend hundreds of hours in LEGO games trying to collect everything, so you really will have a lot to play with here if you decide to pick this one up. It includes all 9 films across the series, and it has all of your favourite characters. There really is just loads to dive into, and it looks like you can play around with the settings as much as you want. If you want to get 60 FPS, that's possible, or if you want to sort of lock it at 30 or 40, that's doable as well. On to a very different game now, which is Doom Eternal, and I have played this one on the Steam Deck, and let me tell you, it runs really well. It's really smooth. You know, the developers have done a really good job of getting this one to run on any machine, but especially on the Steam Deck, it works really, really well on here. You can rip, slash and tear for 67% off. The recent Doom games are some of the best modern shooters I think to have come out. There's loads of fun gameplay here. It's very fluid, very fast, very fun to switch around all the different weapons and try them out. If you like 2016's Doom, then it's worth giving this one a try, but also even if you've never played a Doom game before, you can jump in with this one, that's no problem. You don't really need to know the story of the previous ones, that's not really the focus, so give it a go. Onto a turn-based RPG now with a lot of depth, a lot of layers, a lot of mini-games, just loads of stuff to do. That is Yakuza Like a Dragon, and it's 70% off in the sale at the moment. As I said, there's a lot to this one. It's a very long game, and there really is loads and loads to do, and the turn-based mechanics have a lot of depth to them as well, so really is just a lot to sink your teeth into with this one. Although it does kind of look like you might have to lock the frame rate around 30 or 40. It doesn't look like 60 FPS is very reasonable on the Steam Deck, so just a little warning there. But I think if you don't mind that 30 to 40 frame rate, you'll be absolutely fine and you'll have a really good time with Yakuza Like a Dragon. Another big RPG here, although this one is more of a action RPG, but it's got a seriously good deal right now with 84% off, and that is Dragon's Dogma. Now, I have played this one on Steam Deck and I think it runs really well. I did lock it to 40 FPS to save battery, but I think you probably could do it at 60 if you wanted that more fluid and smooth gameplay. Although I think 40 runs absolutely fine. This game is such a massive open world, there's so many things to do, there's a massive end game to it, lots of different classes to switch between, loads of abilities to try out. And another neat feature is that you can hire your friends' minions as well to come along and help you out. So if you do have any friends who have played on Steam, then you get that added benefit when playing Dragon's Dogma on Steam Deck, that you can hire your friends' minions to come along with you. I always like additional layers like that, interactions with your friends, so if you think that sounds good, then check out Dragon's Dogma. Moving on to a bit of a more recent game now, which is Scarlet Nexus, but it seems to run pretty well on the Steam Deck anyway, so don't worry about the fact that it's a bit newer compared to all the other games that I've talked about so far. All editions of this game are 75% off, so you can pick and choose which one you want, if you want any DLC or not. I've been quite interested in this one, but I've never gotten around to picking it up. There's a couple of different characters you can play as, 2 stories that seem to run side by side, and on top of that there is what they refer to as kinetic psychic combat, where you seem to basically get to throw loads of different things at your enemies, lift and pull them and that kind of thing. So it looks like a lot of fun to me, and it's sort of one of those ones I'm considering picking up in this sale. Moving on now to Blasphemous, and this is another game that is getting a sequel pretty soon actually, just in the next couple of months. So now might be the perfect time to try it out or replay it if you have already played this one. It's currently 75% off in the sale, and it's a very well beloved Metroidvania. Not a lot of new Metroidvanias come around and do very well, but this seems to be one of them. People really like the art style, they like the combat. It's generally been really well received. It runs great on the Steam Deck as well. You're basically guaranteed 60 FPS, and I think you get quite a bit of battery life on there as well, so it's a really good option to play handheld. The next one is the Batman Arkham Collection, and I'm surprised at this one. You get all 3 Arkham games plus all the DLC for 85% off. It's a really good deal actually if you haven't played these at all, or even if you have, you've played them on some other console, then it's really good time to pick them up on Steam. I really like all the Batman Arkham games. They're a lot of fun. It's a really good representation of Batman and the Batman universe, I think. And with all 3 games and the DLC, you get so much content to dive into as well, especially for 85% off. I think it's a really good deal to pick up, and it runs pretty well on Steam Deck. The later in the series you go, the more you'll have to tune those settings down to get it to run smoothly, but I've looked up all 3 games and it looks like at minimum you should be able to get 30 FPS, so I think it'll be a really fun one to play handheld and just have these running on the Steam Deck, and especially considering they're coming out on Switch, which was a real surprise to me. I think you'll be absolutely fine to run them on Steam Deck, and it should be a lot of fun. Okay, last one now, and I might be cheating a little bit here because it's not just one game, it is all games from Valve. I would recommend basically every game from Valve, and right now every single one is 90% off. So you can buy the whole pack if you want every single game, or you can cherry pick your favorites. So things like Half-Life, Left 4 Dead, Portal, they're all really, really good games. They run really well on Steam Deck. They're all a fair bit older now, so you can basically guarantee 60 FPS, quite a lot of battery life as well. They're a lot of fun, and like I said, 90% off is a really good deal. So if you haven't played any of the original Valve games, I would definitely give them a try. They sort of feel right at home on Steam Deck, really. And it's such a good deal, I don't think you have anything to lose at all by trying these out. And you might just discover some new favourites. Well, there we go. Those were my recommendations of games to pick up for Steam Deck in the summer Steam sale. Let me know what you guys think. I did spend a fair bit of time looking through all the different discounts, and these are the ones that I sort of picked out that I thought would be really good on Steam Deck. But if there are any that you've seen that you think would be really good to play on the Steam Deck, or they're a really good deal, then put these down in the comments and everybody can have a look, and we can get a great list of some really good deals for people to pick up. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.